right, welcome back to the channel, everyone. And in this video, we are going to be opening up another discussion. We're going to be talking about the 4.6, the 5.4 liter 2 valves versus the Coyote, and if it is better to either build the 4.6 or the 5.4, or should you just go ahead and Coyote swap your new Edge Mustang or late model Mustang in general. Let me know down in the comment section, what do you guys think is the better route if we're talking about saving the most amount of money and also trying to make the most amount of power? I've pretty much done everything. I've had a stock bottom end 4.6 liter 2 valve. I've had a built 5.4 liter 2 valve. And obviously now I have a Coyote as well as a 5.2 liter Voodoo. So I've literally experienced almost everything under the book except a 3 valve and a 4.6 liter 4 valve Mustang. So I can give my honest opinions on whether or not it's worth to build a 5.4 or a 4.6 liter 2 valve Mustang. We're gonna be taking a look at actually one of my videos here. This is my personal, or was my personal, new Edge Mustang here. Now, this car got down. I'm not gonna lie. This car got down. This is why I respect the 5.4 liter 2 valve and the 4.6 liter 2 valve. They're not to be slept on. Believe that. And this is my car. This is up against an ESS G2 supercharged Gen 2 MT82 Mustang. I mean, the sound, the 5.4, it sounded nasty. That truck motor, it was nasty. And it moved out. For what it was, it truly moved out. Made about 600 wheel horsepower to the tires. It was cammed. I got a dyno pull in this video as well. So, look, I've literally experienced it all. And it's my old apartment garage too. Here we go. Here's the dyno. So this is setup. It was a P1SC procharged. It was a 5.4 liter 2 valve. It was 11:1 compression, and it was on E85. Now I'm also gonna add, it did have ported stock PI heads, and it was, you know, the bottom end. Well, not the bottom end, but it was a 5.4 liter 2 valve from the F-150. So it was a truck motor with the, you know, obviously 2 valve head you can find, you know, on a new Edge Mustang. Here we go. Here's the dyno. Sounded amazing in my personal opinion. This was straight pipe, long tube headers. Revving to 6,000 RPM. It had the Vic Jr. intake manifold as well with the 6061 elbow. So it wasn't being revved out as far as it could have went because I had the stock alternator on it, but you know, it still put in some work. You guys can see here, it made about 588 to the tires. 588 to the tires. I think it made a little bit more than 588. You're gonna see in the video that this car was moving out, but the torque was really interesting. It made 572 foot-pounds of torque. So when you actually set up a truck engine, this is exactly why when I said in my previous video, which I will have, you know, a card that pops up, why I said I would build like a 416 in like a C5Z or in a C6 is because when you put a truck motor into, you know, a lightweight, you know, sport car to go fast in a straight line and you boost it with E85, you can make a lot of torque and horsepower with a centrifugal supercharger. So the vehicle is going to be a lot more predictable and controllable. That's just my personal opinion. And I mean, this dyno is proof of that. I mean, the 4.6, the 5.4 liter 2 valves, you know, they're not known to make a lot of power whatsoever, even built, which is why I'm making this video. But the torque doesn't lie. This car, it hit like a truck. It really did. It really did, man. This was against a turbo Honda. I have no idea how much power it made. At the hood dump. I mean, it was rolling out. You know what I'm saying? This car, it wasn't slow. You know, it wasn't fast, but it also was not slow. Because most people that, you know, go up against 2 valves, they expect them to make, what, 350 to like 450 horsepower at best. When you're making like almost 6 with almost 600 foot-pounds of torque, you're moving out. This was against a 5th gen Z01.
Hey, sorry for interrupting. Isn't that annoying? What if I told you there was a way to get rid of ads like this forever? It's called Pi, and if that sounds familiar to you,
Here you go. I was doing third gear pulls the entire time when I had this car. That's it. It was rolling out. I love the way it sounded though, man. I really did. We got another rematch, the 5th gen. I need to get a 360 camera. I should have got a 360 camera for this car. I need to get one. Because obviously all this stuff happens at night. But, I mean, I had no problems taking out, you know, faster cars that, you know, theoretically, you know, shouldn't even be racing, you know, a 2-valve, because it's like would be a waste of gas for them. But, you know, when you go ahead and put some elbow grease into these cars, or you pick up one that's already built, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can really get down. You can really get down. Because I previously had a stock bottom end 4.6 liter Mustang, right? And, you know, I pretty much pushed that car, you know, to its limits. This was against a 6th gen Z01 right now. I don't believe it was a 10-speed. I think it was an 8-speed. But I was able to take this car out too. And dude, this car, it punched way above his weight class. And I ended up running a Hellcat here. Obviously, you know, the Hellcat, you know, it got gapped because of the power to weight. I gave him the hit, and, you know, I walked him. But, you know, there's really nothing you can do against a light car like this. You know, the thing is, like, when I built my first new Edge Mustang, it was obviously the stock bottom end. I really didn't know exactly, like, what I was getting myself into, right? You know, I did an entire build where, you know, essentially... Actually, you know what? We're going to react to that video as well. I'm just going to go ahead and let myself explain it, because I actually literally made a video explaining, you know, why I did what I did. But this was, you know, with my 600 horsepower new Edge. This was against a Corvette too. This was a heads cam automatic C6 Grand Sport. This is actually one of the faster all motor cars, you know, I've actually ever ran in this specific car. I mean, these Corvettes are nasty. This is like partially why I want to build a Corvette next, no cap, because they just get down at the high rim. I mean, racing them, you know, a stick shift versus auto is hard, I ain't gonna lie, but thing was revving out. The Hellcat tried to jump into. Yeah, those heads cam Camaros, man, and heads cam Corvettes, they get down. Here's some more runs against the ESS G2 S550. This car was on 93 as well, but man, this was such a fun build, man. This was such a fun build. Another hit, third gear. I believe this was a third gear hit. Might have been a second. Nah, it definitely was third. Man, dude, this car, like it fought way above its weight class. Like this right here, man, this is proof that you can get down in a 2-valve. We got some more runs. Man, this car truly got down.
60 roll is hitting in this car.
4 runs. I think this was a second gear hit here. I spun. Yeah, this is second gear. This is why I really didn't do too many second gears in this car, because there was no traction. This was a stock 3650 transmission too. it just came up too quick. Also didn't want to break the transmission because it was stock. Got some more runs, man. We got a lot of runs. I got a lot of good runs in with this car, for real. A lot of good runs in with this car, man. That 6 to 700 horsepower, you know, that range is perfect. Perfect for a new Edge, man, because they're lightweight and you can just go ahead and have fun with cars that make like 600-700 horsepower. That's kind of where I tell people to stop when they're trying to go ahead and, you know, build like a 2-valve or like a 5.4 liter 2-valve, something like that. Because like once you start making more, whew, that's what the car sounded like and looked like. This was against another Honda. I was locked in. Here we go. We had a 2020 Shelby GT500 lineup next to me when I was in this car. Man, this right here, man. I know a lot of people had a lot to say about a new Edge, but this right here, this solidified my point that these cars are slept on. Be able to take out a 2020 GT500. Here's some just like regular cruising, man. Like I didn't end up running a cam 3-valve. This was actually like way before like I actually got runs in against some other cars. So I really didn't know how quick the car was at this time, but I was quickly starting to realize that, you know, this car actually really got down, like for real got down. All right, let's take a look at my first new Edge Mustang build. This was pretty different from the 5.4 liter 2-valve Mustang build. This was a stock engine 4.6 liter 2-valve, which I just slapped a blower on it and just full sent. Now, I actually ended up selling this car and buying a Shelby GT350. And then shortly after I bought my Shelby GT350, I found that black 2-valve, which you just watched, and that essentially filled the void that I lost with this vehicle, because I did an entire motor build, which I'm going to go over in this video, and things just didn't work out. But this is the car that I should have Coyote swapped. I shouldn't have built the 4.6 liter 2-valve. I should have just Coyote swapped it, because at this time, you know, in my mind, I was thinking if it doesn't make 1,000 horsepower, it's slow, which obviously isn't true. Well, technically is, but, you know, on the street, it isn't true. And I spent a ridiculous amount of money building a 4.6 liter 2-valve to make 1,000 horsepower. I think I spent over 10 grand on an engine, which is ludicrous for a 4.6 liter 2-valve. Ludicrous. But that's kind of what you have to do if you want to build like an 1,000 horsepower car. And in all reality, like if you're trying to do that in a new Edge, all power to you if you want to build the 4.6. But I mean, 10 grand at the time that I spent that money, I could have bought a Gen 2 with a 680 transmission for 8. Listen to that. I could have bought a Gen 2 long block with like less than 10K miles with this 680 transmission for 8 grand. Should have done that. You can still build a Coyote swap new Edge cheaper than it would be to build up a 4.6 to make, you know, 1,000 horsepower. Because with a Gen 3, you know, boost fuel, you're at, you know, 850 to 900 realistically. And you could push 1,000 with oil pump gears and a crank sprocket. So that's kind of why I always tell people, you know, I want to build my new Edge Mustang. I want to build the 4.6 or the 5.4. You know, I always tell them, look, man, 600 to 700 horsepower is that sweet spot. Anything past that, you're going to be spending Coyote swap money. For real. I know there's going to be those exceptions. People say they did it for like 6K or something like that. But, I mean, realistically, if you don't know how to do the wrenching yourself, you're going to be spending a lot of money. It's better just, in all reality, just a Coyote swap. For real. It really is.
All right, here it is, fellas.
This was the car when I first picked it up.
Daily. This is
And this is what it looked like, you know, when I sold it.
4.6 liter 2-valve.
At the S71 welds, the real weld reels on here, man.
Mustang GT. I purchased this car to
4-inch cowl hood,
be a
Cervini's
daily
cowl hood.
driver, but things changed pretty quickly.
If there's one thing you're gonna learn about me is I like to build the underdog, the slow car. I still do, low key. That people consider a waste of time, a waste of money, a waste of effort to put into. Now, I had one. See right here, I had the Vortec V1 S trim on here. This was a fully stock 4.6 liter 2 valve. Had the stock PI heads. I even had the dormant intake on here as well. And I had this blower spinning. I had a 2.7 grip tech pulley on here, making 16 psi. Goal. I don't know how much power the car made
to go fast.
Pretty quick. This was a bolt-on tuned Supra on 93. You could tell the difference, like between that 5.4 and that 4.6, like that initial punch. You could really tell. I think this was a 10 or 80 Mustang right here. I'm pretty sure. You can see the boost rise though. At this time, I think I was only pushing like 14 pounds or something like that. It's a 6R80 right here. I think it's full bolt-on 6R80. I think. But obviously, things like that can't happen overnight. I still want to have some fun in a. And at the end of the day, this was my first V8, so I had to go ahead and put a proper exhaust on the car.
It's the day, man.
Yeah, I got a border attack. So this was the first mod I did to that car, was a border attack. I mean, look at how slow it was in A. God dang. Sounded good, but man, these 2 valves, like. And that was pretty much the end of the NA life for me. A couple weeks later, I ended up finding a very good deal on a Vortec V1S trim supercharger that came with the intercooler as well as the blow-off valve. And I had pretty much everything needed to bolt up a supercharger to my stock 4.6 liter 2 valve. And I was like, why not? Let's go ahead, have some fun, and see what this car can do. That Vortec, man, it sounded, that shit's loud. Got that ghetto ass AFR hooked up. The tape. See the dormant intake. Now, to complement the supercharger, I decided to go ahead and upgrade from the shorty headers that came on the car stock to some BBK long tube headers, as well as an off-road X-pipe to add in some additional top-end power so this car could keep up with some more modern vehicles.
Let's see what this thing sounds like now.
It sounded good. This is back when I lived in Chicago, too.
Oh, it's... Never mind, it's louder. It's louder. Never mind, it's louder.
Ooh.
Okay.
Infamous Indiana plate.
Alright. We're gonna do like a little test here. Right here.
Shit, I swear I had a pro mod right there.
Oh yeah.
I swear I had a pro mod right there.
Now, at this point in time, I was really starting to dive into and figure out how to make a stock bottom end 4.6 liter 2 valve fast. The current tune I had on the car was putting down low 400 wheel horsepower, and I had the Vortec 2.87 pulley on. So if you know, you know. The numbers really weren't adding
I got this shit tuned by
I also had 410 gears on, so the car really wasn't set up for what I wanted to use.
It was modern muscle.
But at the end of the day, it still ran pretty hard.
In Illinois.
All right, here you go, man. Second gear, 3500.
I don't know if their dyno was messed up or whatnot, but the car was slow. I swear I thought I had a pro mod.
Fast forward a couple months, and I end up moving from Chicago, Illinois to Houston, Texas.
Yeah, I moved.
Now, I quickly realized my little 4.6 liter 2 valve wasn't worth shit.
It really
I was
wasn't.
getting gapped. I was getting humiliated.
It was slow.
But you can't get faster without taking some L's. So I decided to go ahead and contact a local shop, CU Indian Racing out in Pearland, Texas.
Yeah, the car,
and they built a built bottom end for me. Now, during
actually,
that
no, they didn't build it. They didn't build it. It was a different machine shop that did it. They didn't do it.
I was still getting work done to it.
I don't remember the name of the machine shop, but they did not build it.
355s, and I also got a retune, which significantly increased
They
the
tuned
power
the
of
car though, which it was moving
upwards
out
of
with their tune, but they didn't build the
450
motor. It was a
horsepower,
different machine shop.
And I started to run the car again. Yeah, this is when I had the wrong pulley on it too, with that 28-inch tall tire. That was a 10 or 80 Mustang right there. I was like, man, I should have won that, for real. I was granny shifting like crazy. I didn't really know how to drive the car at this time. Now, after having my fun at Texas 2K,
and I ran up against a BRZ with the turbo on it.
Bottom end 4.6 liter 2 valve. I knew there was something holding this setup back. It was putting in work, don't get me wrong, but I knew there was something that was preventing this car from going to the next level, and that was the tire size.
Yeah.
At this current time, I had a 28-inch tall Mickey Thompson ET Street SS. And if you guys know centrifugal superchargers, being at the right RPM is critical when trying to do a roll race. So I decided to go ahead and go down to a 26-inch tall tire, and everything started going in my favor.
Car, massive difference when I went from a 28 to a 26 in this car. Like, it was night and day. It picked up big time. It had too big of a tire on it. This was against a Gen 1. I don't know what mods it had.
1, 2, 3.
There's a bad shift right there, but I took up that Gen 1. This was against a 6th gen.
You want a
auto.
60? 60! 60! 1, 2, 3!
Yeah, but you can tell the difference, like that initial hit with that stop bottom end 4.6 versus the 5.4 was different. This was against a Gen 2. This car was rolling that night. I remember this night.
So the car is running good. I'm winning a lot of races. I'm having the time of my life. And I also start to meet a lot of cool people out in the Houston and Dallas area.
I gutted this hoe too.
I started racing a lot more faster cars, started losing again, and I had to go right back to the drawing board because you can't get faster without taking some L's.
Gutted this
Did some
shit.
weight reduction, pulley down the car even more to a Grip Tech 2.7-inch pulley. I honestly don't even know how much the car is making right now, but it's running pretty damn hard.
I think this is probably my best race I've ever had in this car too. This is when I had the car pulleyed all the way down, weight reduction to the max. Yup, bang. This was a badass race too. This is when I ran up against a Shelby GT250. To be fair, this guy did not know how to drive it, I don't think, because I draggy both cars stock for stock. You know, the Shelby GT250 is faster. Yeah, right there, like, I didn't even have.
This is where my 4.6
I didn't even have my Shelby at that time.
Right now, I'm really happy with it. I was able to check off all the boxes, accomplish everything I wanted to get done.
I really did,
on the
for real.
stock bottom end. I was even able to take out a manual Hellcat.
Yep. I took out this Hellcat. That's how this, after I beat this Hellcat, you know, I was content, because this was about the time where I was like, damn, I'm kind of tired of the car. You know what I'm saying? The motor wasn't done when it should have been done. But then when I beat this Hellcat, I was like, all right, I did what I wanted to do.
Definitely something you don't see.
There's the short block.
4.6 liter 2 valve with a manual transmission doing, but that's what I have to work with. I recently picked up a built motor for my car as well. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications to stay updated with the build. We're pushing for at least.
That's what I'm saying. This motor, it was pretty decent, you know what I'm saying? But everything just didn't work out. It had, I believe the compression was 9.5 to 1. So it wasn't enough in all reality. I'm glad that I was able to experience that 11 to 1 compression 2 valve, but this motor's compression it wasn't enough. And it just, man, I wish it worked out, but in all reality, I kind of wish I went ahead and just Coyote swapped the car. That's why I be telling people, man, like, build the 4.6 or Coyote swap. Look, if you're trying to make over 700 wheel, I would say just go to Coyote swap, because long term it's the better option. But 600 to 700 horsepower, I mean, that 2 valve, it punches, and I ain't gonna lie, it really is satisfying beating up, you know, Coyotes in a 4.6. It really is satisfying. I ain't gonna lie, man. It really is satisfying. But
at least 700 horsepower on phase 1. And then when I get you to the car, we're gonna turn it up even more.
Yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed the video.
that was a car,
Hopefully I
man.
inspired
That was the car. That was the first new Edge Mustang I built, man. Damn. I know what the car is still too, man. I could buy it back, but I don't think I'm going to. If you ever see this car back on the channel, I ain't gonna tell nobody. It's just gonna show up and it's gonna have a Coyote in it. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It's gonna just be Coyote swap. I'm like, hey guys, look what's back. So if you guys enjoy, feel free, drop a like in the vid, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications. If this video gets 10,000 likes, if it gets 10K likes, I'll buy this car back. But I'm gonna catch you on the next one. Deuces.